So why couldn't they move Chris Johnson? Why did this come about today?
Bram, $8 million in base salary, although there was no guarantees in the $8 million. The fact of the matter is, at 29 years old, Chris Johnson's also coming back from meniscus surgery, which he had in late January. It's just not going to happen. So what's going to happen today is by 4 p.m. Eastern, they'll release him. And I think there will be teams out there for him. That surgery should be fine now. He's fully healed up. The Jets make some sense. They've got 4 running backs, but they don't have anyone with his type of speed. If you use Chris Johnson as a rotational back, not a full-time starter, that's how you get the most out of him.
What is the market for him money-wise? Is he
question.
a big money market running back now based on his performance over the last couple of years?
No, in fact, you saw those statistics. I think when you look at Chris Johnson, you look at free agency, look at what the backs were getting. $3 to $4 million on average during this free agency. Now, you can say Chris Johnson, an accomplished running back. There's no question about it. He does turn 29 years old. You have to look at it and say, what can he do for your football team? Is he a change of pace guy? 10 to 12 carries a game? Is he 15 to 18 carry a game guy? I think it's the former. You get him in a rotation. He's been very durable over his career. That's very important. But running backs, as we know, Bram, when they reach 30, they go downhill.
You know, he said last year a lot had to do with his injury, and that's the reason for the numbers that he's had. But this has been going on for a few years now, and there's been a lot of discussion about his work ethic down there in Tennessee and how invested he was and what type of player he was in that locker room. What were you hearing about Chris Johnson post the 2,000 yards?
Bram, it is true. Talking to people around the league, there was some information out there that some of the coaches on the former Titan staff, they'd fall out of, kind of in love with Chris Johnson. The guy who had the record-setting year in 2009, he's not the same player, but he still has something left. There's no question about it. But as he said, since week 3 from last season, he's playing with a partially torn meniscus. That's been corrected. He's healthy now, so he absolutely can get a job where he can go in and play right away. But again, the question is for the Jets, the Rams, or any other teams, can he be that first and second down primary back? That's the issue.
Are you anticipating a long-term commitment from one of these teams? Or do you think that somebody's going to look at this and say, let's try this out for a year or two before we make some kind of...
Well, you could always structure it where a team could get out of it. But what I think it is, I don't think the base salary is going to be $8 million. I think you can get to $4 or $5 million, get him a signing bonus, get him some roster bonuses per game, or give him some incentives over the life of his contract where if he does produce, he can get more money.
We'll see what the new atmosphere does for him, and maybe it rekindles that career. He's got blazing speed, incredible big playmaking ability. We just haven't seen as much of it these past couple of years that we saw just a few years back when he challenged Eric Dickerson's record.